Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Erkenhelm again. Today I'm bringing you a replay from PAX East. This one is including Al. Uh, so say hello, Al.
How's everyone doing? This is Alexander the Emerald Knight.
There you go. I couldn't remember the exact name off the top of my head.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for.
so, tell us about the team that you brought at PAX.
I was the psychic gym leader at PAX East, and on top of that, I also limited myself to just green psychic types. The last 2 years before at East, I was grass, so I just kept the green theme going with the psychics. You can see from the preview here, you're probably looking to go, oh wait, Espeon, Bronzong, those guys aren't green. Shiny versions are. So basically, that's the team you're looking at. Espeon, Bronzong, Mr. Mime, Xatu, Sigilyph, and Mega Gallade. The only other options I actually had, which I considered, I had Reuniclus, um, Chimecho, Gardevoir, and I think I might be missing one or not. So I really had slim pickings to deal with. So, and then the other thing you'll notice is that I do my gym as triple battles, so kind of throws a little monkey wrench into it. So you'll. I don't want to talk about the strategy beforehand, so you'll kind of see it unfold as the battle goes.
Yeah. So, do you find in general that triple battles led to shorter battles or longer battles?
It's tough to say. I see one of the problems I had with my team was that I felt that they were a little too stally, and some of the battles dragged on maybe a little longer than need be. I mean, you can attest to this too. Like when you're in the handheld lounge and you've got, 4 or 5 people waiting to battle, and then you get battles that run 20 minutes plus, it's kind of annoying for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, I found because I timed myself last year, and I don't know why I didn't do it this year, but I was finding that my battles were taking about an average of 10 minutes per battle. And I want to say this year, just kind of guesstimating, it was probably closer to 15 to 20. So, and that's just more, and I was running triple battles last year too. So it was more just the team makeup. So again, well, it depends on who you're playing against too. If you get someone who is real knowledgeable competitively, you can get some really long single battles. So I think in that respect, triple battles tend to be a little shorter just because there's a lot less switching in a triple battle because it's can be more punishing if you switch out something that ends up coming in and taking 2, even 3 free shots on it. So you tend to see people who are familiar with triple battles will switch usually a lot less.
Did you find that you fought a lot of people who were familiar, or did most of the people were they caught off guard?
No, that's the thing is that I get a lot of dirty looks sometimes when I say, "Oh, by the way, my gym is triple battles," just because people aren't that familiar with it. That and rotation battles, you see a lot of people kind of look at you sideways when you suggest doing it because they're just you don't do them that often in the course of playing through the game. So even if like you're not even talking on a competitive level, but if you're just playing through the story mode in the games, I mean, you might get a handful of triple battles or rotation battles. And actually, I think even in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I don't think there are any. So it's just one of those things where if um, you're not used to them, it kind of throws you off. It does take a little bit. There's a little bit different strategy just because you've got the three on the field. So it leads itself to for like I said some dirty looks when people find out that that's how we're doing things.
Okay, so let's check out your first battle here.
Yeah, so this is Joe, who for people who are PAX Pokemon League veterans, will recognize him as Oceanus. He was a gym leader, I think, for the prior 3 years. I think 2012, 13, and 14. He was the water type gym leader. So he was a challenger this year. So this is definitely someone who knows his stuff.
Yeah, I have a couple battles with him. I was hoping to get him on to cast them with me actually, but we haven't been able to work anything out yet. So hopefully we'll have him on in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Joe's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
So what you're gonna see is you're gonna see my three that I led with for every battle at PAX. This was kind of my main strategy to start, regardless of what the other person was doing. So you have Carbuncle the Espeon, who is dual screens. So that's basically his job is to set that up. Bronzong is kind of my defensive stalwart, which is why I like to put in the middle in a triple battle because the Pokemon in the middle is susceptible to attacks from all three of the opponents. And then Mr. Mime, you'll see coming up here, I think, or I think he already attacked, is usually one of two things. I'll go for a Nasty Plot boost with him, and then he's got Baton Pass to pass it out. Or if I can catch an opponent in a setup move or something, he has On-For.
So that Gyro Ball is going to bring the Frostless down to the Sash.
Yeah, we got the critical hit there, which was key. Bronzong's burned, but really not too concerned with it. He's not a heavy hitter, anyways.
Right.
There's Espeon getting the reflect up now.
So a lot of these Pokemon should actually be familiar to the people who watch because 3 of them on the field are Pokemon that I used at PAX.
Yep.
So I had my own Espeon, I had my own Arcanine, I had my own Tentacruel.
And poor Mr. Mime fell into the Destiny Bond trap. That was interesting. I wasn't expecting an infestation there.
Yeah.
Not that I was really wanting to switch Espeon out at any point anyway. The other thing I love having Espeon, and you don't see a ton in triple battles, but if you get someone who really isn't familiar with it and is used to singles, is bouncing Stealth Rock back at with the Magic Bounce.
Oh yeah, it's always nice to bounce back hazards.
Which is funny too because I also have it on my Zatu, so I kind of have the double bounce. So in case, because a lot of people, if they clear Espeon, they think it's safe to do whatever they want, and then Zatu shows them otherwise.
Yeah. I don't think Zatu is a Pokemon that you see that often, so people are less likely to be expecting it than from Espeon.
Yeah, definitely. I find that a lot sometimes. 'Cause I like to try out all kinds of different Pokemon, and you'll get people who they're just not used to seeing them because they're either not generally considered viable competitively, or just a lot of people don't use them. Oh, this is a shiny Haxorus. All right, so Omega the Sigilyph there. The hope usually is that I can get the Nasty Plot boost from Mr. Mime Baton Pass to him because, as you'll see, he is there to set up with stored with Cosmic Power and then use stored power to attack. The good thing about he's poisoned now, but it's not going to matter because he has
the Magic Guard.
Magic Guard, so he does. I was confusing that with Wonder Skin. So he doesn't take any damage from that poison, and he also has Psycho Shift because I have a Flame Orb on him, and if I get any threatening physical attackers, I'll just Psycho Shift the burn onto them.
Oh, I noticed he really wanted to take down your Espeon, but he got it down to the red, and then you used the Morning Sun.
Yeah, I like to sometimes with Espeon. It's tough because when you're in a triple battle, you're stalling with recovery moves isn't always the best idea, just because especially from that left-hand position there, he could be attacked by either Arcanine or Tentacruel. So if you're wasting time boosting his hit points, sometimes you're basically just setting him up to get KO'd. Yeah, I figured it was about time I started attacking that Tentacruel.
Yeah.
And here's where I was cursing the fact that I had got poisoned there with my Sigilyph because I really wanted to pass a burn on to that Haxorus, because especially after I saw that Dragon Dance, I was thinking this thing's going to start getting scary real quick.
Yeah, the burn is definitely useful for physical attackers.
Oh, poor Carbuncle.
Did pretty good though, lasted quite a while.
Yeah, as long as it gets the screens up, that's the first thing it does. It does its job. Anything after that, I basically consider, just icing on the cake. The weakest earthquake in history, right there.
Now, Bronzong, it's Steel Psychic type?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is I did go mono psychic, so everything is psychic type. But the earthquake comes in handy. Not so much when he's burned, but
yeah.
But I
Uh,
also, like I said, I also have, we haven't seen Zatu yet, and then the Sigalith. So if I can get the both of them out, he can Earthquake without fear of touching any of his teammates.
mhm.
All right, so his Blade was just going to Mega Evolve. So with him, I have bulk up on him. So the idea hopefully is to get at least one or two boosts if I can, and then just kind of start going to town because he's a lot more bulkier, especially on the special defense side, than people are aware of.
Mhm.
So he can usually take a couple of hits. And here I go trying to boost up Sigalith here.
Uh,
That Tentacruel is disruptive as all hell.
mhm. He's getting a special defense drop there.
Yeah, so that's gonna hurt because I can boost his defense with the bulk up, but I mean, thankfully he's good. He's pretty decent special defensively as is.
Mhm.
Just depends on the situation. It's like it's like anything else, whether it's triples or singles. You just got to kind of pick your spots and when you can set up if you can. But a lot of times in triple, depending on what your opponent's staring at, sometimes it's better to just start throwing damage out there.
Mhm.
There's Trevenant. Here comes Zatu. So Zatu's kind of weird on this team just because he's kind of set up more as a lead, but I just threw him on the team anyways. Usually he takes some decent physical hits. Didn't didn't really there from that the Haxorus there, but he's got U-turn and Toxic as kind of and Heat Wave as his damage capability, and then Roost to heal off damage if he can. So Heat Wave actually came in handy with the triples.
Mhm.
I could get him in the middle spot, but and then I really had no idea what item to throw on him, so I just threw a Life Orb. Not that he does a ton of damage anyways, but I figured whatever. A
Yeah.
little bit extra will help.
Mhm. Sometimes there are some Pokemon that it's hard to decide what item would be best for them.
Yeah, you always get to that point, especially when you're dealing with any kind of rule set that does have the item clause, where you get down to that last Pokemon and you're like, I really have no idea what to put on this thing.
Yeah.
Actually had that situation happen my first year as a gym leader. I had no idea what to put on my Meganium, so I just, as a whim, just threw a red card on it, and it became one of the biggest troll Pokemon ever because mine has Dragon Tail.
Mhm.
So I'm just phasing things out left and right. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I find that a fairly common item when you're just like, well, what do I put on is Quick Claw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those ones you can't really go wrong with. There we go. So I got a few boosts here with the Sigalith, so I'm gonna try and start attacking.
Mhm.
Not as many as I would have liked, and still without the nasty plot pass from Mr. Mime. It's hard to sweep with him. I mean, you really have to get almost 3 to 4 cosmic power boosts, because then you'll get the base damage of stored power up without getting the added boost to his special attack through the nasty plot. That Mega Sceptile. I knew I was gonna have to get rid of that thing quickly.
Uh, you got the special defense drop, but you still took that Dragon Pulse pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that people don't expect that Gallade is really that bulky.
Mhm.
Another thing, it's another one that people just aren't as used to seeing it. I mean, you tend to see Gardevoir a lot more than Gallade. And here we go with the resting. I believe he's a Harvest Trevenant.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, this is what happens if you can get to a numbers advantage towards the end of the battle. So basically, I've got my 2 basically beating up on his poor Trevenant here,
Yeah.
and there's not much he's going to be able to do at this point.
Right. Especially when he's asleep.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a bit of an odd set for Trevenant, I think. People tend to run the Citrus Berry, and they harvest that and recover the health like every turn, pretty much.
Yeah.
Although it's a 50% chance to harvest a berry.
Right. So it's tough if you're relying on that to get a chesto berry or something to wake it up.
Hmm.
So it was a good battle there with Joe, though.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Came down 2-on-1.
So yeah, it was that was I think is a good one to start with because I think that was a pretty decent display of my team. We'll see maybe some of the other ones where my team didn't quite fare as well as I hoped they would. Overall, I think, and I can actually get the number for you because for this is the first year I actually kept track of my battle stats because we always discuss amongst ourselves the leaders after PAX. Oh, how did your team do? And then we try and figure out how how well we built according to what we thought we would. And of course, right now my oh there we go. Where is it? So I finished with 23 battles for the weekend, and I won 9 of them and lost 14. So just under 50%, which as an intermediate leader, I was pretty pleased with.
Hmm. The you spent some time at the booth in our secret base, so you didn't get quite as many battles as other gym leaders.
Yeah, it was tough. My shift manning the booth in the diversity lounge happened to fall on Saturday and Sunday at the same time that the handheld lounge meetup was. So that was a couple of hours that I lost that I normally would be taking challengers. So, but it worked out all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually really fun being in the diversity lounge booth because we had a lot more people find out about the PAX Pokemon League that really had no idea who we were beforehand. So that was real cool.
Yeah. It's now always nice to see people, finding out about us and deciding to give us a try.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, the first year that I went to PAX, I just and this is going to sound hilarious to anybody who is familiar with trying to get tickets for PAX East now, but I found out about a month before PAX and was able to buy a 3-day pass.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was 2011 maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I was able to get a 3-day pass a month out and just happened to go on the Penny Arcade forums and found out about the PAX Pokemon League that way. So uh, yeah, crazy to see where PAX has come in just a few short years.
Yeah, it's impossible to get a 3-day pass now after like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I somehow managed to snag a couple this year, so I was kind of psyched about that.
Yeah. Did you ever get a rematch against Joe?
No, I didn't. And here's the thing. I actually hand out my badge, win or lose.
Hmm.
So, because I know it's tough, it can be frustrating for people, especially if you're at the handheld lounge meetups and you've been waiting to battle someone for, 30 minutes or so, and then you finally get that battle and then just to lose. It can be hard to, find that person again over the course of the weekend. So, I just decided that as long as the person is a good sport, that I am going to hand out my badge, win or lose, because I'm just there for the battles anyway. So I enjoy it either way.
Hmm. So did you have anyone who wasn't a good sport that you didn't give your badge to?
Not this year.
No.
I have in the past. It actually I feel bad because one was a kid, and normally, and kind of the gym leaders all have their own ways of handling the youngsters, but I usually try and throw the battle so that they actually win it.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's hard because you'll end up in a situation where maybe you have a Pokemon, like your only Pokemon left doesn't have any like non-damaging moves and you have no choice but to damage them. But I had one kid last year. I think it was last year. Was it last year, the year before? I can't remember. Oh, 2 years ago. It was my first year as a gym leader, and he had a team that had an Arceus, which, as you'll know, is not allowed under PAX Pokemon rules,
Hmm.
and 5 Shedinja who were all hacked to have Sturdy as their ability. So basically, with Shedinja only having 1 hit point, it was basically guaranteed not to faint unless you are like me and happen to have Stealth Rock and Leech Seed,
Ah.
which got around it. So um, I made sure that I made quick work of the youngster and told him that by no uncertain terms that he should probably change his team because other leaders will not look so kindly on it.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, and that's the one thing that I'm glad about the league, anyways, is that generally I would say 99.9% of the people are totally fine. But that's including both leaders and challengers. Everybody's just there for the same reason. We all love gaming, which is why we're at PAX. We all love Pokemon, which is why we're either participating in the league as a leader or as a challenger, and we're all just there to have fun.
yeah,
And so I think people understand that, this isn't, it's not a tournament. There's no grand prize, that, some big money prize or anything at the end of it. So I think people are just, they realize it's just a fun thing and they don't take it quite as seriously as they might if it was, some kind of real big competition.
yeah. We're all about having fun, and PAX in general is fantastic, and just the atmosphere and everything gets me every time. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I tell anybody who is in any way, shape, or form a fan of games who has never been is to just go once and you'll just be blown away by the atmosphere. I mean, the expo hall itself is one thing, and that's just kind of it can be overwhelming for someone who's there for the first time. Just it's just so much sensory overload. But the whole atmosphere of everything that has to do with PAX and just kind of the feeling of camaraderie among everybody because everybody is just there because you love games, whether it's video games, tabletop games, what any aspect of games, you've got people who just share your passion. So it's one of those feelings that if you've never been to a convention or you've never been into a PAX and you're a gamer, you need to go once just to experience that.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on and casting this match with me.
No problem. Thank you for
And
having me.
it's nice to have you. I hope everyone watching enjoyed it. And I'm going to reiterate, if you want to be a gym leader at PAX Australia, applications are open now. There will be a link in the description down below. And you also have one more day to apply to be a gym leader at PAX Prime. So if you're thinking about that, you want to get on it right away because you're running out of time. Again, a link to that will be in the description down below as usual. And we'll have links to everywhere you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and our website and all that. Uh, the Twitch channel has been going pretty well, and I appreciate everyone stopping by and checking that out. We always have a lot of fun there.
PAX Pokemon League is taking over the world.
One small step at a time. Alright, so we'll see you all next video.